What's up, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Keystone Chiropractic Blogcast. I'm Dr. Jonathan Chug. Today we're going to be talking about an interesting topic. Recently, I was just flipping through my social media feeds and I found a really cool article that actually talked about prevention of sports injuries. We know that preventing sports injuries has become a serious problem, especially in light of what's going on with concussions and overuse injuries. And we really care about our youth athletes and we want them to be active and to play sports throughout their life. But it's harder to do that when they're spending more time off the field nursing an injury rather than on field and actually playing the game. So what was the study about? Well, the study compared a couple of things. It compared the outcomes for stretching versus what's called proprioceptive training versus strength training. And they looked at 25 large randomized clinically controlled trials to see what, if any, benefit there was to these three interventions in preventing injury. And the outcomes are pretty surprising, especially for most people. If you were like me and you were grow up playing sports, we were always taught, hey, you need to get down and you need to stretch, especially before you start playing any type of sport, because flexibility is important and the only way to get flexibility is through stretching. Well, the data tells us a different story. What the study actually found is that stretching provided zero benefit as far as injury prevention. Now, we don't really know if stretching was really done appropriately for what we know now, which means, you're not supposed to stretch before you start doing activity. It's really better to stretch afterwards. But regardless of that fact, we found that stretching had very little to no benefit. What was more surprising is that something that's been demonized for quite some time now, strength training, as in lifting weights, getting bulkier, getting stronger, is actually found to actually prevent sports-related injury by almost 33%, and it actually estimated that you could prevent overuse injury by about 50%. So that I found startling, in that simply by getting our athletes to get into a strength training regimen, you could actually slash the rates of injury by substantial amounts. The other thing that they found is proprioceptive training, which is what people do to actually stimulate the nerves to fire more. So those are the things that people typically associate with Bosu ball training or wobble boards or things like that, actually provided some benefit as well. Now, how does this apply to you guys? Well, first and foremost, our young athletes are being told bad information most of the time, and that's they're being told to constantly stretch in order to get better, when in reality is they need to get their bodies stronger, and that's really what's going to make them more resistant to injury. Now, this isn't as big of an issue for sports like football, baseball, basketball, hockey, some of the major sports that are being played, because strength training is already a pretty intricate part for their conditioning programs. Now, the people that can benefit are some of the fringe sports. Our cross-country runners, our lacrosse players, especially girls that are participating in sports right now who kind of shy away from strength training, are really the ones that can probably benefit the most from it, because they're the ones that aren't doing it. So if just something as small as getting into the weight room, getting a qualified personal trainer to really strengthen the muscles of the body, get into a routine of using weight and resistance training to build a stronger foundation, then we might be able to see a reduction in this rash of ACL tears and all these shoulder injuries that we're seeing in a lot of sports these days. So something to think about. As always, I welcome your comments at the bottom of our Facebook page. You could also leave a comment down on the YouTube page and let me know what you think. And as always, you can follow me at Dr. Jonathan Chug on Twitter, or you can check out our Facebook page at facebook.com, Chiropractor Wellington.